So, hello, Kristen.
Hi.
Welcome to the world of being an ATMC graduate. Kristen came into our program a few months ago, and she has been a delightful joy to our hearts. Watching her transition from where she was at to where she is now has been nothing less than miraculous. So, Kristen, what happened? How did you get on meds?
Well, I was in prison for about 5 years. When I first got there, even though I didn't have symptoms of psychosis, they put me on an antipsychotic, which was called Geodon, among other things, which was gabapentin, propranolol, a couple other things. And so I was on them for the entire time I was in prison. And then when I got out, I originally tried to get off of them myself and started having symptoms of psychosis. You know, manic episodes, anxiety attacks, full-blown panic attacks. I was super crazy for many weeks. You know, I was not myself. I was a totally different person. Huge fear of impending doom. I thought I was going back to prison for no reason. So that's how that happened.
So I talk about this a lot. People say, well, if I wasn't already psychotic or manic and I got put on these drugs, am I going to have those type of symptoms coming off of them? And what I tell people is, you know, even if you, I don't know, if you drink alcohol long enough, you're going to have these alcohol withdrawals. These things have effect on your physiology. They block dopamine receptors, and what happens is those dopamine receptors just get more volatile looking for dopamine. So then when you pull the drug away, you get this influx of dopamine, which is the chemical equivalent of, you know, mania and psychosis. If there's enough, there's, you know, an excess there, and people like confuse that with being a diagnosis at times.
That makes sense.
So when you had tried to reduce these medications before, was it like a cold turkey? Were you employing any strategy?
No, I did try to do it cold turkey actually before when I was in prison, because I was like, I don't need these medications, I'm getting off of them. The result was terrible. I was like a total, normally I'm a pretty social person, but I became completely introverted. I couldn't talk to anybody. I didn't leave my room. I barely could get in the shower. I was a whole mess. So then when I got out of prison, I tried to titrate off of it, taper off of it, and I just went down 20 milligrams. And that's when I experienced the mania and the anxiety and even depression. There was definitely some depression in there too.
So you made it up here, and when we took you through the process, what kind of complications did you have, or did you have any at all?
So amazingly enough, the difference between when I tried to do it myself and when I was here at ATMC was vast. It was, the only thing I experienced was nausea and then like hot and cold spells. I didn't experience any of the feelings that I had when I was trying to taper myself. Any of the, I didn't feel manic. I didn't have the, you know, debilitating anxiety. And I believe it's fully due to the program, the supplementation, the detox, the sauna, just the whole program really worked. And
you came in on 60 or 80 milligrams?
On 60.
So you were on 60 milligrams, which is not a high dose, it's more of a middle dose. Been on it for 5 years, and we got you off that in 8 weeks. And that is technically miraculous.
100%.
And to feel better afterwards. I mean, because antipsychotics are sometimes harder to withdraw from than any class of medication.
I've heard that.
You know, recreational drugs, even though we've watched all the movies where people go into these horrific withdrawals and whatever, they've got nothing on, you know, a good antipsychotic withdrawal. Because the problem with an antipsychotic withdrawal is, first off, you go into, you know, hypomania or even mania, and then you might get hospitalized again, and then put more drugs, and then more drugs, and you might be court ordered to take drugs, and it's just a mess. And people don't realize that there is a withdrawal phenomenon with these drugs, just like there's a withdrawal phenomenon with recreational drugs and alcohol. But the withdrawal looks just like manic and psychotic symptomatology. And what we get told, the narrative is like, oh, see, you went off your medications, you still need your medication. Going off medications abruptly, especially antipsychotics, can look like going off of the top of a high-rise building without taking the stairs abruptly. I mean, you hit the ground, and there's laws of physics involved in getting off of these antipsychotics, just like there's laws of physics about walking downstairs and not just trying to fly.
Right.
But unfortunately, I don't think that the conventional medical wisdom has quite understood that there's a bit of a difference between a psychiatric relapse and a medication withdrawal as it relates to coming off these drugs.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of the time where one gets mistaken for the other.
Well, you get to be a teacher to other people, you know. There is a strategy of doing it slow. Most people out there in the wild are not going to be able to come off 5 years of antipsychotics in 8 weeks. You know, they maybe need more like 5 months, 6 months. And so in the program, what are some of the strategies that you think really nailed it for you?
I definitely think, you know, first there was, I think, like 10 to 12 days of supplementation before I even started the taper, just to get me, you know, level and like healthy and fully supplemented, so that when I started the taper, you know, some of those symptoms didn't occur. So I think that was really important. And then also going to the sauna every day and just flushing your system, taking the niacin and flushing your system. I think that was very important. I mean, all the other things that are just good for like mental health, like the yoga, the meditation. I worked out every day while I was there, and I'm still working out every day. And
kudos on that, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a really good habit I got into while I was there, so yeah. So yeah, I just think, I mean, all the aspects of the program, including, you know, things like acupuncture and even like massage or, you know, sound healing. I really enjoyed the sound healing. I feel like that was definitely very, you know, put me in a good Zen place and kind of like centered me and whatnot. So yeah, I think, you know, I think the whole program is like very well-rounded and everything works together.
Yeah, it's hard to. A famous chiropractor by the name of B.G. Palmer had said that the whole is greater than the sum of its parts.
Makes sense.
And if you're just taking this and this and this, it's really kind of all works in unison. The niacin, the vitamin C, and the lithium orotate are really strategic in helping people on a biophysical level, because it helps metabolize the dopamine, as does oxygen. So when you're exercising, part of the therapy of that is you're actually producing oxygen, which is a cofactor in breaking down that excess dopamine that's flooding into your system. So it's a little hard sometimes to press upon people at home what the entire mechanics of the program look like and how it all comes together. And there's a tribe, and you know, there's people that are supporting the process and people that have been through the process that are ahead of you, and people that you're supporting the process for that are coming in behind you. Is there anybody that particularly sticks out that you want to acknowledge?
So many people. I mean, just right off the bat, immediately when I got there, I just felt so welcomed, and like everybody was warm and seemed to genuinely be interested in where I was at in my journey, what they could do to help me, how they could make me more comfortable and like help me progress in what I was trying to do there. The naturopathic director and the director of supplementation and detox, both of them really are very well educated on what they're doing, and I think you know, their input is invaluable. So both of them are amazing. All the care providers, my care manager Hannah, she was really professional and yet at the same time very warm and caring. So I really appreciated her help through the journey. And then everybody that helped me with my discharge planning too. I had, I think, 3 different people that helped me with my discharge planning, which I felt, you know, super prepared to leave when I did leave. So yeah.
Good. I'm glad we fermented up the discharge, because that is important. And
yes.
When people don't have that, you know, they're like, what do I do now?
Yeah.
So you had a period of time between being free, or relatively free, after your incarceration, and you're on meds. And what did your life look like that? What about your relationships and your children too, right? So
yes. So things were deteriorating. I did, when I got out of prison, they put me on a couple other things. They were just trying different things, you know, and And then all of a sudden I was on a whole bunch of medications, and there were some serious adverse reactions, including extreme daily anxiety to the point where I was just miserable, and I was ruining the relationships around me, you know, like my significant other, my boyfriend, and I were going through a hard time. I didn't even realize it, like now looking back, how depressed I was. I was like super depressed, but I was all.
You think you'd be happy just coming out of where you came out,
right? You would think
you're not. You're on all these meds
originally, but then you know, as time went on, and I was dealing with the stress of everyday life, and then they're putting more medications into the mix. I just became a total basket case. So, so yeah, I was a mess, and I didn't realize how much of a mess I was. Like I was kind of like, I mean, I knew the anxiety was bad because it was debilitating, but I didn't realize how depressed I was, you know, until I got to ATMC, and it was almost immediate. It was really very quickly where I was like, oh my God, I can breathe, you know, I can breathe, I feel good, like I want to wake up in the morning. Yeah, it was pretty, you know, within the first few days I felt a vast weight off my shoulders.
And you've been out of the program now for a couple, 3 weeks. And which gave you time to enjoy a sometimes challenging holiday for many people, Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Lots of family, lots of people looking in like, okay, is she gonna be okay?
Right.
How'd all that go?
Went really good. It was actually the best like holiday that I've had. Well, I mean, yeah, I was in prison for a long time, so but it was the best weekend that I've had with my boyfriend's side of the family. It was really, it just felt wholesome and calm. You know, I was relaxed the whole time. We all had a good time. My son had a blast. You know, we got to ride horses. We went up there and he played with the chickens and the goats and, you know, everything. So, you know, and everybody was, you know, the family was waiting to see how I would do, and everybody seemed to, you know, be like, wow, you're doing really amazing. So it was a really good feeling.
You were there. You were present.
Yes, for sure.
And your eyes look really clear. I mean, if someone looked at you now and related to you, they'd have no idea the hell you've been through.
I wish we had a before picture.
Yeah.
You know, like to see my eyes.
You know, I've done that in the past, and it's almost cruel to somebody to show them what they looked like in a way.
Yeah.
You know, in some ways you just want to put that, keep it down there. But yeah, I'm sure you've got a few pictures laying around.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, we used to interview people before, and it just, I don't know, it's tragic just to.
I could see that, yeah.
See people in those places, you know.
That makes
expose
sense.
them, expose them in a vulnerable spot. So what's next?
Well, I'm working part-time right now. I do plan on getting full-time work, and after the holiday, after Christmas, and you know, I want to continue just doing everything that I learned there, the yoga, the meditation, the working out, the supplementation, you know, and just stay really like mentally fit and just healthy, you know, where you know, that feeling where, you know, you wake up in the morning and you're like happy to wake up and happy to start your day. I love that feeling. It's a whole different feeling than I had before. So, yeah.
It's like a resurrection. Well, I think that's good. It's been a real privilege to be of service to you.
Thank you for everything.
You know, I get to help you and all the people in your tribe too at the same time, and I see your family and they're like doing better because you're doing better. It's sort of like a snowball and going up instead of down.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Right. Thank you for
everything,
trusting us enough with your very you know, tender spots, and we look forward to, you know, continuing the journey in a different way.
Sounds good. Thanks so much, Lyle.
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel. For information about Alternative to Med Center, give us a call at 888-984-9667.